I'm an architecture student, and in architecture school, we learn to hone our design skills, our creativity, with imaginary problems. So we have imaginary projects with imaginary situations. So some of us start to wonder, why not look at real-life situations instead? So we start to question, like, what can students do? How can we contribute? July 2011, the last KTM train departs from Tanjong Pagar railway station. The railway land that used to belong to Malaysia was now handed over to Singapore in a diplomatic agreement. It was a very momentous event. Suddenly, everybody wanted to take the train before it's gone. Right? There's this sense of nostalgia among Singaporeans these days of things constantly disappearing in our very aggressive development. So the disappearance of the railway becomes a very emotional thing for many people. But together with this disappearance comes a sudden realization that, hey, we are suddenly left with this very long piece of land. And as the workers started to remove the tracks one by one, unfortunately, we are left with this image of not an ending, but actually a new beginning. The fact is, this whole line stretches for 26 kilometers from Tanjong Pagar all the way to Woodlands. It literally dissects the whole island from north to south. And because it used to belong to Malaysia, it was beyond the reach of Singapore's urban development. And it was this very unusual thing for Singapore, right? Things are just left as it is for decades. And we are a group of 28 architecture students from National University of Singapore, led by our tutors. Dr. Tan is right there. And we are very interested to look at what we can do about this piece of land. So the first thing that we do is we went there and just started to document everything. And we call it Operation KTM Street View. So we went there and we take a photo every 10 meters and compile it to this huge database. And we make it into a video, and it's on YouTube right now. So you can see how the varying places that it actually passes by, from beside the highway to under the roads, to housing estates and office zones. So it actually cuts through the various parts of Singapore through our collective backyards. In fact, 1.2 million people are already living in the vicinity of the railway land. That's about 1/5 of the whole Singapore population that can have direct access to this. It's quite amazing. So it passes by Choa Chu Kang at the north, and then Bukit Timah down to Bukit Merah at the south. And we shouldn't see this as a very thin line. It actually has a substantial width beyond the width of the tracks itself. And if you add all them up, it's actually 3 times the size of Singapore Botanical Gardens. And it connects all these green areas that we already have, such as Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, the mangroves at Mandai, and southern ridges. And it also passes by many heritage areas. The 2 railway stations, obviously, at Tanjong Pagar and Bukit Timah, but also many places that are very historically linked to the presence of the railway land itself. So with all these fascinating qualities that the railway land already has, we start to question, what can this land become? The continuity of the line is a very, very precious characteristic. It can become a spine where animals cross over from their habitats to the next. It can become a place where people learn a century's worth of history from a single line. And it can become a place where you can get around without any cars. If you want to cycle, let's say from your house to Bukit Timah to your office in Central Business District, it takes about 45 minutes, but you are not blocked by any roads along the way. It can be a north-south corridor that connects to the Round Island Park connectors that we already have. And why not use the length of the track to, for example, let's have a marathon. You can have a unique picturesque run through the very heartlands of Singapore itself. Imagine running across Singapore without hitting any roads. So a Green Corridor run was actually held just January this year. So it was quite nice. And why not bring festivals along the corridor itself? So instead of everybody squeezing in the trains and buses, stuck in traffic jams to go to Chinatown for Mid-Autumn Festival, right? You can just bring the festival to people's doorsteps. And why not use the unbroken length of the line itself to set Guinness World Record? You can have like the world's longest popiah. And yeah, different places have their own different characteristics. So we can also have specific uses for specific places. We can organize a flea market at Bukit Timah railway station. And why not you reuse the train sheds that they used to have the carriages to have a farmer's market in Tanjong Pagar? And we can always lay down like a catwalk on one of the bridges to have a fashion runway show. So along the way, we met a lot of people, a lot of interest groups that actually also want to do something about this railway land, like the Nature Society, the Heritage Society, many cycling groups actually, and of course the Green Corridor group, who has been gathering support from the public all this while. And together with the Friends of the Rail Corridor, we held an exhibition down here at URA in October 2011. So we wanted to show people what we have found and the things that we have thought of, the ideas. And we occupied the atrium with like this humongous 10-meter model of the line in case people pass by miss it, But most importantly, we want to hear what do people think. What do people have to say? And we are very happy to receive a lot of comments from many people who visited the exhibition. So we placed all these post-it pads beside the panels, and people started writing comments on them and pasted them on the panels. So we're very happy to see that. And we compiled all of this into a book, and we hope that with this book, we can continue the conversation about this unique piece of land. So these ideas I've presented are not far-fetched at all. Many of them can be done. But are they what you want? So with this, we hope to continue the conversation about this very unique piece of land that is sitting there just waiting for your ideas. It is a one-of-a-kind land for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So what are you waiting for? Thank you.